Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Today's One More Thing is actually a larger umbrella under which there are a few items of support. Bill Barr and Donald Trump's Justice Department is blurring the lines of what is appropriate and traditional related to their role as the Department of Justice, as their role of being Donald Trump's personal attorney. The first thing I want to talk about is something that just broke, and that is that the Justice Department is actually going to intervene in the state of New York's case against Donald Trump and his finances. They have subpoenaed, I think, 8 years of tax returns, and it was just announced that the Justice Department, through the Southern District of New York, is going to intervene. According to Politico, Trump's lawyers have argued that as president, he cannot be subject to a criminal investigation, a privilege they say should extend to stopping state authorities from getting their hands on his tax returns. Vance, who is the Manhattan DA, called that a breathtaking claim of immunity that has no basis in the law, and also argued that the case should be decided by state, not federal courts. So what this means, by saying that that a president cannot be subject to a criminal investigation, goes beyond what the memo from the Office of Legal Counsel states, which is that cannot be indicted. So if they prepare this investigation waiting for Donald Trump's impending eventual removal from office, or just by natural course of democracy not being in office, that's different. Investigating and actual indicting and prosecuting are completely different things. The other thing is that Bill Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, it's been revealed now, it's been reported, that he had private meetings with foreign intelligence officials trying to get them to investigate, in an effort to overturn the rulings, to push back against the rulings, the findings of the CIA and the FBI related to Russians' interference in the 2016 election. From the Washington Post, Attorney General William P. Barr has held private meetings overseas with foreign intelligence officials seeking their help in a Justice Department inquiry that President Trump hopes will discredit U.S. intelligence agencies and their examination of possible connections between Russia and members of the Trump campaign during the 2016 election, according to people familiar with the matter. What is happening in the inner workings of our Department of Justice, the FBI is a part of which, by the way, that they are trying to discredit the intelligence bureaus, the intelligence agencies of the United States? It's unheard of. And then the other thing is the fact that when the whistleblower complaint, this of the Ukraine call, of which I hope that everybody's read, that when that whistleblower complaint was forwarded to the Justice Department for their ruling on whether or not it should be forwarded to Congress, Bill Barr was named in that call. He was named in that whistleblower complaint, and instead of recusing himself, he nixed it. He said, no, we're not sending this to Congress, in an effort to cover it up. That is impeachable. That is outrageous. Keep your head on a swivel, because this is going to be a development that gets larger as reporting and information comes out. So the other thing is that I got a bunch of questions, some really good questions that I want to address. The first one is from a Twitter DM from Miguel. With impeachment not being a criminal conviction, could Trump attempt to pardon himself to prevent his removal? Or are pardons from the president exclusive to federal crimes? It's an awesome question. Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution grants the power of pardon to the president except in the case of impeachment. From the Constitution, he, meaning the president, shall have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. So no, Donald Trump would not be allowed to pardon himself from the matter of impeachment if he was indeed convicted and removed. The second question comes in the way of a video. Let's check it out.
Hi, Jesse. I I would like to say that I enjoy your YouTube channel. I enjoy the information that you give to us and appreciate the effort that goes into producing what we see. I am not a political animal. The corruption has confounded me for so long that I never really got involved. However, since Donald Trump has come into office, I realized that I should have been involved a long time ago. And appreciate you helping me in becoming informed about our political process. The question that I have is that my concern is what is involved and what is it going to take for us to undo everything that Trump has done, not only to our country, but to our standing in the world, how our allies and other countries see us, and how do we get back on track with them. Thank you for taking my question and responding to it. Thank you for all that you do, and have a great day.
This is a multi-layered question. What's it going to take to undo the damage, not only internally, domestically, but also our image around the world? I think the image around the world thing will be a little easier to fix because people understand how our system works, that we have a goofy electoral college system where it doesn't really reflect the will of the people. It's not truly democratic, one person, one vote. I think our reputation will repair itself. That, and also there's all kinds of white ring nuttery that's going on all over the world, from Brazil to the UK, relative to some weird conservative populism that's happening. As far as undoing the damage that's been done by Donald Trump going forward, that I think is two levels. There is institutional damage, and then there's also undoing all of the policy damage that he's done. Some of that is going to have to be done through reversing his executive actions. Some of that is going to be putting the right people in place to repair the wounds that have been caused at a cabinet level. But it's going to take some time. But some of this damage is going to reverberate over probably the course of 10, 15, maybe 20 years. There is a good thing, though, that I think we all should not sleep on, and that is the fact that the corruption and self-dealing and criminal behavior of Donald Trump has really laid bare, has made very visible the weaknesses in the system that we have, the immunities that the President of the United States under our current system inherently has. And that needs to be changed. We really need to tighten up our ethics rules related specifically to the President and what he or she is allowed to get away with going forward. I scream and yell and freak out about it all the time, and I think a lot of people will do too, that no one is above the law in our system. I take it a bit further. I think that no one is above the law. However, with people in positions of authority and power, whether that be local police departments or whether that be congressmen and women or the president and vice president of the United States, they should be held to a higher standard. When you're in a position of authority over others, there's something special about that, and you should be held to a higher standard. So the ethics rules should be tighter for the president, certainly not looser. Thank you for the question, Michelle. Next is a video question.
Hey, Jesse. All right, man. My name's Kevin. Huge fan. I've been asking this question a lot. And if Donald Trump is impeached and removed, do you honestly think that Mike Pence would be a better or more logical choice? You know, I mean, there's not a lot of choice that we have in that, but would he be better for us as a country? That's all I want to know.
Thank you for the question. This is actually one that gets asked a lot. And even when Donald Trump was first getting into office and finding his legs, people were saying, well, if we were to remove him, then we would have Mike Pence and that would be worse. I don't agree with that. I think that obviously, it's kind of a degree of which would be a shittier situation. There's no good choices, Donald Trump or Mike Pence. You just have to gauge the level of badness. And for me, as bad as Mike Pence would be, he's nowhere near the badness of level of Donald Trump. And some of that has to do with, I think, respect for the institutions and the radical level of in-your-face criminality, disregard for convention that Donald Trump shows. Mike Pence is certainly a bigot. He is a evangelical nutter. All of that is sure. But he has traditional relationships and has held traditional roles in the government where, there's a saying, the devil that you know might be better than the devil you don't know. It's something like that. But Pence is a devil we know. He's not some unknown quantity. We know what he would be like. We've seen him as governor of Indiana. We've seen him as a congressman from Indiana. And yeah, he is terrible. But it is a terrible we understand how to deal with, especially related to how parties deal with one another relative to strategy. So thanks for the question. Next is a voicemail.
My question is about Donald Trump, and if he is removed from office through impeachment, how fast would the next person be sworn in and Donald Trump removed? Are we talking minutes, hours, days, or weeks? And if he is removed, or if he resigns, does he and his family lose their lifetime Secret Service detail?
So, there's nothing really in law that defines it has to be within the first week or the first hour or the first month. But my take on it would be, my understanding would be that they would want to do it as quickly as possible, just as a show of stability, that we've got a plan in place, that there is no lack of leadership here. There wasn't a gap in coverage, if you will. That the moment that Donald Trump was convicted in the Senate and removed from office, there would be an immediate turnover. Mike Pence would be there ready to go to swear in to be the next president of the United States. Again, going back to Keevan's question, it's a bad situation, but it's better than what we have. As far as the Secret Service protection is concerned, there is actually something called the Former President's Act, and Donald Trump would not have Secret Service protection. He wouldn't even have a pension. According to this, as used in this section, so this President's Act talks about the use of the word president or former president, and they define it. And it says, as used in this section, the term former president means a person, one, who shall have held the office of President of the United States of America, kind of obvious, and two, whose service in such office shall have terminated other than by removal pursuant to Section 4 of Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States of America. So, no, if Donald Trump is impeached and removed, like fired, you lose your pension. You lose your Secret Service protection, which lends to the question that we got next, which I really hadn't even thought of, but we'll play it.
Just finished watching your YouTube about impeachment, and it's very interesting and informative. I have a question that was not asked nor answered, which has been kind of interesting to think about. If Trump is impeached fully from both the House and the Senate and removed, and then a state goes ahead and indicts and convicts him, would he get Secret Service in prison? Inquiring minds would like to know.
So if Donald Trump was convicted and removed, no Secret Service protection. If he is impeached and not removed, but then subsequently prosecuted after he leaves office by a state, even a federal conviction, he would still maintain Secret Service protection under the way that I understand the law, because he wasn't terminated. He went through, finished his full term, so they would have to still provide Secret Service protection unless the law is changed. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to have Secret Service protection. If he went to prison, likely what would happen is they would pass off the duties of protective duties, to the Bureau of Prisons or some other element. I don't think the Secret Service is going to be hanging out in his cell with him. For instance, when Hillary Clinton, who does have Secret Service protection because she is a former spouse of Bill Clinton, or she is the former First Lady, she has Secret Service protection for life. She, while running for office, also had, and when she was Secretary of State, also had a dignitary detail from diplomatic security from the State Department. So it wasn't like she had two full details. A lot of her protection duties were passed off from the Secret Service to the State Department. So anyway, a long way to say that, yeah, he would, I think, but it would likely be in the form of prison guards. All right. Next question.
Hi, Jesse. This is Grace from Buffalo, New York. Love your show, by the way.
Thank you.
My question is regarding Rudy Giuliani, better known as Rudy Giuliani. While Trump is going through this impeachment investigation, information coming out about this obviously very corrupt former mayor, can an indictment be brought against him as a result of what they uncover? Because in my opinion, it should be, and he should be disbarred.
Yeah, absolutely. The answer is unequivocal. Rudy Giuliani can for sure be indicted. He has no immunities, no protections, no privileges that extend beyond just being the personal attorney of the president. He would for sure, and I think that there is something to be said for the likelihood that very well could happen, especially as Congress gets in and starts digging into this. So, yes. To put it very, very flatly. I also believe that there is a chance that he'll be disbarred as well. So anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Awesome questions. Again, I still haven't gotten a new phone number yet for the show. So use this phone number, 657-464-7609. You can email voice memos like some of these folks did to idoubt@dollemore.com. You can also DM me or just regular tweet me on Twitter. I am @Dollemore. The other thing is supporting the show. If you appreciate what I do, if you've got this far in the video, you likely do appreciate what I do. And if you're in a financial position to do so, I would really love it. I would appreciate it so much if you just consider joining as a channel member on YouTube. Click the little join button. There's some rewards there, stickers. There's a members only community section on the community tab. But I think more importantly, you will know that you're helping move the conversation forward. You will know that you are helping in a very real way break through some of the bullshit that happens on a daily basis relative to headlines and obfuscation and obstruction from this administration. I am independent, and YouTube cuts in a lot relative to their demonetization policies, and it would be awesome. I'd love to have you on board. I appreciate you guys. If you've been hearing a low rumbling, like a snoring, that is my 8-year-old bulldog, Popeye, who loves to make noise. So you're not imagining things. You are probably hearing snoring. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate you, and we'll see you.